The History of Vampires is a captivating and multifaceted narrative that spans centuries, cultures, and mythologies. From ancient civilizations to the modern era, the evolution of the vampire myth has been a fascinating blend of fear, fascination, and fantasy. The origins of vampire-like creatures can be traced back to ancient civilizations such as Mesopotamia and Greece. In these early cultures, stories emerged of malevolent spirits or demons that would feed on the life essence of the living, often by consuming their blood. These tales laid the foundation for the vampire archetype, embodying humanity's primal fears of death and the unknown. The concept of the vampire took on distinctive forms in various cultures. In Slavic regions, the term vampire emerged, describing revenants or undead beings that returned from the grave to haunt and harm the living. These creatures were often associated with plagues and illnesses, solidifying their role as harbingers of death. The medieval and Renaissance periods in Eastern Europe witnessed a surge in vampire hysteria. Communities were gripped by fear, believing that the dead could rise from their graves to torment the living. Reports of exhumed bodies, puncture wounds on corpses, and rituals to prevent the deceased from returning to life were widespread. These fears were immortalized through chilling accounts and artworks that depicted vampires as terrifying and grotesque figures. One of the most notorious figures in vampire lore is Vlad the Impaler, a 15th-century ruler of Wallachia. His brutal methods of execution earned him a reputation as a tyrant, inspiring fear and intrigue. Bram Stoker's iconic novel, Dracula, drew inspiration from Vlad's legacy, creating a character that would forever change the landscape of vampire mythology. Published in 1897, Dracula introduced Count Dracula, a charismatic and enigmatic nobleman from Transylvania, who would become the quintessential vampire archetype. Stoker's work set the stage for the modern portrayal of vampires as seductive and alluring creatures, capable of both terror and seduction. The 20th century witnessed a dynamic transformation of vampire lore. Literary works like Anne Rice's The Vampire Chronicles, and movies such as Nosferatu and Interview with the Vampire reimagined vampires as complex characters grappling with immortality, morality, and human desires. These stories shifted the focus from fear to fascination, exploring themes of eternal life, forbidden romance, and the existential struggles of the undead. In recent decades, vampires have undergone further metamorphosis in popular culture. The Twilight series by Stephenie Meyer captured the hearts of a new generation, presenting vampires as misunderstood beings entwined in passionate relationships with humans. Television shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and True Blood delved into the complexities of vampire-human interactions, using supernatural narratives as metaphors for real-world issues. Vampires have become enduring symbols, representing the evolving cultural attitudes towards identity, desire, and the supernatural. From terrifying demons of ancient lore to charismatic antiheroes of modern fiction, the vampire mythos continues to captivate and resonate with audiences worldwide. As society changes, so too do our interpretations of these immortal creatures, ensuring that the legacy of vampires will endure for generations to come.